Hi everyone, it's Emily, and one of the most fun parts about any sort of physical hobby out there, including collecting video games, isn't just buying the items. It's displaying them. From putting the games on our shelves, spotlighting our favorite genres and platforms, and building little visual tributes to franchises that we love and adore. This is how you incorporate a lot of dose of personality and make our collection uniquely ours. And what I learned over time is that you don't need to make big changes to keep things exciting. You don't have to do massive overhauls of brand new shelves or buying new collector editions or adding new figures to liven up your shelves. Instead, focusing on those micro adjustments. Those can have big impact and constantly keep your shelves feeling alive and evolving over time. Small rearrangements can help refresh the visual energy of your collection and just keep you connected to the hobby in a whole new way. So I thought today would be a perfect opportunity to bring you along with me and how I make these small micro adjustments to keep my shelves feeling fresh and a lot of fun to rearrange. One of the things that I've been wanting to change up in my shelf arrangements are the core things that I feature in my background, mostly the center display pieces here. I'll be keeping the Final Fantasy VII Remake section because I've been really into the remakes lately and looking forward to playing Rebirth very soon. But Metaphor Bifantagio, I want to reposition and mostly remove this collector's edition from the front and center piece in my shelving here because despite really enjoying the opening hours of Metaphor, I've not gone back to it. It's a game I would like to revisit someday, but not anytime soon. And so I think there's another franchise that may be better suited here. And removing all these items from my shelves helps me reevaluate the things I want to keep out on display, which ones to tuck back into my collector's edition. This also offers an opportunity to finally dust the back section of my shelves. And I'm holding up a makeup brush here. I really like the fan-shaped ones because they're just, I think, universal in dusting not only the shelves and the games themselves, but also my figures and getting the nooks and crannies in there. Now going right next to Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm going to be putting the Legend of Zelda section down front and center. And I feel kind of bad having put a lot of my Zelda collection up high on my shelf where it's harder to see. And I'm excited to finally bring all this stuff down and try to figure out a way to make it work in this section. My shelves are kind of unique in that they're not super deep and those iron bars make it sometimes difficult to put larger items in. But I think I can make this work. Not everything's going to fit, so I really need to prioritize the things I want in my center display, including this Link figure of him with his Breath of the Wild look. I also have this really cute Link tin that I don't know where I got this. I want to say Amazon years ago. I think it's official. It has a little Nintendo thing on the back of it. So it's very cute and I'd like to incorporate this somehow. I also have this really cool Famicom box for Link's Awakening, though it's not really for the Famicom. It's actually a t-shirt box where I got my Link's Awakening t-shirt while I was in Japan. And it's a really cool display piece. That's why it was up there. And my Switch OLED Tears of the Kingdom version, it's probably not going to fit. I really want to prioritize, I think, things that really have meaning for me, but we'll see what ends up fitting on my shelf. Another thing that I really want to prioritize, probably the most, is this complete in box copy of A Link to the Past for the GBA. This was my childhood favorite game. It still is one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely deserves to be front and center on my shelves. I also have the remake for Link's Awakening on the Switch. It'd be really awesome to also incorporate this as well, the Dreamers Edition. It's a little rough for wear, but it's nice and colorful. I think it'll be perfect on display. Now for the big Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition, we'll have to see if this fits. It's a chunky boy, and it's not the most visually interesting item in my section here, but it's beautiful. And last but not least is this Hyrule Historia art book that I've had for a very long time. It was actually, I think, a Christmas gift. I might have to put it with my other art books instead. Now for the moment of truth. Does the Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition fit on the shelf? And I'm positioning it way in the back. You'll see that it does indeed fit. There's not too much depth left And I want to see if my Link figure fits next. And thankfully, there's enough space for him, though he might have to be positioned strangely. Usually he's displayed shooting towards the right, but I might have to make him shoot towards the left there, showing off his shield a bit more. And yeah, I think I like this positioning quite a bit. Now, the two other things I really want to prioritize, my Link Between Worlds 3DS box, as well as my Link to the Past GBA box. And I think I need to position these somewhat uniquely, maybe right in front of the Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition. I think it should fit there. So I'm going to see how this looks with the 3DS box right there. And then I think I'm going to have my Link to the Past angled like that. That way you can see both of them. And it covers up a little bit of the plainness that is the Tears of the Kingdom box. I really want to have something behind the Link figure. So Link's Awakening Dreamers Edition is going to go back there for some splash of color. So it's not just all black and gold. And it fits actually on the bars there. It's not going to be, I know some people might be like, wait, that might damage that Dreamers Edition further. It probably will, but that's okay. I'm not too worried, honestly. And my little tin of Pixel Link goes right on top of it. And I think that fits very nicely. Now, I think this shelf is full. I've been trying to see if repositioning Link, if I prefer him towards the right or left. But yeah, I think we're going to keep him pointing his arrow towards the left there. I'm still not really sure how I feel about the Tears of the Kingdom blackness. That is that. I kind of been nice to have the Hyrule Historia there because of the green. But I think for cohesiveness and just really prioritizing the games and consoles in my collection as front display pieces, I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It would be nice to have my actual 3DS XL on this display as well for Link Between Worlds, because this is not the 3DS that I actually use on the day-to-day. And I feel a little unsure about displaying it right on top of the box there, covering up the Tears of the Kingdom logo, so not going to do that. Before, I had it positioned right in front of the 3DS XL box, and unfortunately I can't put it right there. It's going to be covering up too much, and it also sticks out actually of my shelf right there, which is also not a good thing. So I think instead what I'm going to do is there's a little spot way in the back. I have a lot of gold now on the shelf, which is okay. I do associate gold with the Legend of Zelda series, and it's really nice to have a lot of my favorite things from this franchise displayed here, front and center in my shelving unit. Now that I've changed my center shelves, what do I do with this empty space up here? Well, I have put aside some interesting items on the right there that's kind of bleeding over into my K-pop shelf. So I think it's finally time to move it. This little micro arrangement, nothing too exciting. I literally just shifted everything over to the left, and I think it looks pretty cohesive with my whole corner unit and having all the games on my designated gaming shelves and not bleeding over into my K-pop shelves. The next section I wanted to tackle today and rearrange is this lower one, where I have a lot of overflow items, including these steelbooks for Xenoblade that I'm not really sure where to put them, as well as these collector editions for other Nihon Falcom games, like Boundless Trails Nyota here, which is a mainline Trails game, but also kind of a spin-off, but not quite. It's still up in the air what it is. And also this Ys 9 Collector's Edition, which is sadly just too large to fit with my other Ys items that are on the shelf above it, just because of how huge this box is. Now, after a quick dusting, we're going to load the shelf and rearrange things so it looks a little bit better than just kind of this overflow area that I've been kind of maintaining for the last few months. And you may have guessed this already, but Metaphor Revantaggio is going to go down here. And thankfully it does fit, which it should. These shelves are pretty uniform with all the display areas. And I want to put Ys 9 back here as well, because these are just prominent games that I really do enjoy. And I think for Nyota, I could have it on top of Ys 9 here, but I think for cohesiveness, it looks better on the side. And it's not going to display the lenticular cover, which is unfortunate, but I think this is probably the best way to have it. For now, I'm going to be putting the acrylic standee as well as the bookmark on top of Nyota and Ys 9. I also need to figure out where to put these other metaphor items, like this postcard. I think I'm going to put it back on top of the collector's edition. You can't really see it from this angle on the shelf, but it does help make the shelf more full. The steelbook, I think, will also be tilted to the side so you could kind of see the image. I do really like this image. I could put it maybe back here so it's a little bit more visible. Yeah, I think I do like that because that way you're not seeing as much of my white wall in the background there. And the other items like the bookmark, keychains, and pins, I think they're all just going to go on the lower part just to fill up some space. And they're a bit more visible because this is a lower shelf and you kind of see those flatter items from up high a little bit easier. So they're just going to stay down there. So how do you guys think it turned out? For me, I think this is a much needed improvement. There are a lot of things that, you could fine tweak with your shelves. And I hope you guys took away some tips and tricks of how to reevaluate your shelves and, make some little micro changes to liven things up. And for me, I think displaying the Legend of Zelda series more prominently in my background and in this section of my shelf in particular just kind of highlights how important that franchise is to me. Link Between Worlds, 3DS console system, as well as A Link to the Past GBA set right there. It really just emphasizes my history with gaming and how it still has remained consistent even after all these years. And as I mentioned, you don't have to make huge changes right away. There are still areas in my shelves that I think need improvement, but they're all something that I could slowly tackle, when inspiration strikes, and do maybe some sort of mass curation efforts this spring of, reevaluating all the items on my shelves and what things should remain and which things I should maybe part with, as well as some ideas of what things I would like to add in the future. So leave some room for those items as well. And I'd like to take a moment to thank all my channel members who help make videos like these possible, as well as all of my live streams. And a huge shout out to my Orbit Architect level members, Dr. God, Trin, Night Noctum, George, Joe, Champagne Sherpa, and I'm Aki. Thank you so much for all your support. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you'd like to see more sort of shelf related videos in the future, and maybe some sort of process of my curation efforts. If I do some sort of mass purge, in the near future or not, let me know. And until my next video, bye y'all.